The race session is at Macau City Circuit in Hong Kong, China. The wind speed is 13 km/h from the north-northeast. Seaman row is P1. Steve Jr. from Australia is second with 30 kilos. Specky K, Sim Racer 203, from Australia is third with 50 kilos. Hashtag Fnlongi from Australia is fourth. XXILEX from Italy is fifth. Lethal Force from Australia is P6. Tabizea from Australia is 7th. Hayes is 8th with 30 kilos. Huggy 65 from Australia is 9th. Seaman Rowe from Australia is P1 with 50 kilos. "30 minutes remaining in the session. Race start. Tabizea is P3. Tabizea lost 7th to Hayes. Tabizea passed Hayes for 7th. Steve Jr. is second. Steve Jr. is now 6th. Specky K, Sim Racer 203, is P5. The race session is at Macau City Circuit in Hong Kong, China. The wind speed is 12 km/h from the north-northeast. Seaman Rowe is P1. Steve Jr. from Australia is P2 with 30 kilos. Specky K, Sim Racer 203, from Australia is P3 with 50 kilos. Hashtag Fnlongi from Australia is P4. XXILEX from Italy is 5th. Lethal Force from Australia is P6. Tabizea from Australia is P7. Hayes is 8th with 30 kilos. Huggy 65 from Australia is P9. Seaman Rowe from Australia is first with 50 kilos. "30 minutes remaining in the session. Race start. Hashtag Fnlongi is P4. Hashtag Fnlongi pass Specky K, Sim Racer 203, for third. Steve Jr. is P3. Specky K, Sim Racer 203, is 4th. Specky K, Sim Racer 203, lost P4 to Lethal Force. Exilex in St. Francisco Hill is P7. Exilex lost P8 to Tabizaya. Steve JR is 3rd. Huggy 65 in Payeel is 7th. Steve JR is 3rd. Hashtag Flangi in Fisherman S Bend is 2nd, 0.9 ahead of Steve JR. Huggy 65 in Black Sands is 8th, 0.3 behind Tabizaya. Hashtag Flangi from Australia in Mandarin Oriental Bend is 2nd, 2.3 behind Seaman Row. Steve JR exiting pits. Huggy 65 in Mandarin Oriental Bend is 8th driving a Chevrolet, 0.9 behind Tabizaya. Hayes entering the pits is 9th. Steve JR in Lingnan Bend is P6 with 30 kilos, 0.7 behind Exilex. Hayes exiting pits. Steve JR passed Exilex for 5th. Exilex is P6, 1.0 behind Steve JR. Specky K, Sim Racer 203, in Dona Maria 2 on lap 2 is 4th, 0.7 behind Lethal Force. "25 minutes remaining in the session. Exilex in Melco hairpin is P6, 1.5 behind Steve JR. Lethal Force in R Bend is P4, 0.1 behind Specky K, Sim Racer 203. Lethal Force entering the pits is P4. C. Monroe is first, 4.7 ahead of #Flange. C. Monroe was 2.0 faster last lap. Lethal Force exiting pits. Huggy 65 in our bend is P8. Huggy 65 entering the pits is P8. C. Monroe from Australia in maternity bend is first, 4.3 ahead of #Flange. Huggy 65 exiting pits. Xilex in Lingnan bend on lap 3 is P5, 2.3 behind Steve Jr. Xilex was 4.2 faster last lap. Tobizaya is 7th. Xilex in Moorish is 5th. Best lap is a 2:45.295. 8.478 off the fastest lap. Lethal Force in Melco hairpin is P6. Best lap is a 2:50.859. 14.042 off the fastest lap. Specky K, Sim Racer 203, entering the pits is P3. Xilex is 5th, 3.8 behind Steve Jr. Specky K, Sim Racer 203, exiting pits. Specky K, Sim Racer 203, is 5th battling Xilex. Lethal Force in Lisboa bend on lap 4 is 6th, 3.8 behind Specky K, Sim Racer 203. Specky K, Sim Racer 203, was 1.9 faster last lap. Specky K, Sim Racer 203, is P5, 0.5 behind Xilex. Xilex in Solitude Essies is 4th, 1.0 ahead of Specky K, Sim Racer 203. 20 minutes remaining in the session. Specky K, Sim Racer 203, in Moorish is 5th, 0.6 behind Xilex. Xilex in Melco hairpin on lap 4 is P5 battling Specky K, Sim Racer 203. Lethal Force in Fisherman S Bend is P6, 4.8 behind Xilex. Hashtag Fnlongi exiting pits. Xilex is 5th, 0.4 behind Specky K, Sim Racer 203. Steve JR is 3rd driving a Janetta, 3.6 behind hashtag Fnlongi. Xilex from Italy is P5, 0.3 behind Specky K, Sim Racer 203. Steve JR is 3rd, 3.6 behind hashtag Fnlongi. Xilex in Solitude Essies on lap 5 is 5th, 0.3 behind Specky K, Sim Racer 203. Lethal Force is 6th, 2.8 behind Xilex. Xilex is 5th, 0.7 behind Specky K, Sim Racer 203. Specky K, Sim Racer 203, in our bend is 4th, 0.9 ahead of Xilex. Xilex on lap 6 is 5th, 1.0 behind Specky K, Sim Racer 203. Specky K, Sim Racer 203, in St. Francisco Hill is 4th driving a Toyota, 1.1 ahead of Xilex. "15 minutes remaining in the session. Xilex from Italy is 5th, 1.4 behind Specky K, Sim Racer 203. Specky K, Sim Racer 203, was 0.5 faster last lap. Specky K, Sim Racer 203, in police is P4, 1.6 ahead of XXILEX. Persis Joy entering the pits is P10. XXILEX in Melco hairpin is 5th, 1.3 behind Specky K, Sim Racer 203. Specky K, Sim Racer 203, is 4th. XXILEX is 5th, 1.2 behind Specky K, Sim Racer 203. Specky K, Sim Racer 203, is P4, 0.5 behind Steve Evo JR. Lethal Force in St. Francisco Hill is 6th, 0.9 behind XXILEX. XXILEX was 2.5 faster last lap. Specky K, Sim Racer 203, in Teddy Yip is 4th, 0.5 behind Steve Evo JR. Lethal Force in Payeel is P6, 0.7 behind XXILEX. Specky K, Sim Racer 203, is 4th. Best lap is a 2:38.692. 2.535 off the fastest lap. Lethal Force in Black Sands is P6 driving Audi, 1.3 behind XXILEX. XXILEX in our bend on lap 7 is 6th battling Lethal Force. XXILEX entering the pits is 6th. C. Monroe is 1st. XXILEX exiting pits. Specky K, Sim Racer 203, in St. Francisco Hill is 4th, 2.4 behind Steve Evo JR. 10 minutes remaining in the session. Huggy 65 in Black Sands is P8. Specky K, Sim Racer 203, is fourth with 50 kilos, 2.9 behind Evo Jr. Tabizea in Solitude Esses is 7th. C. Monroe entering the pits is 1st. C. Monroe is 1st. C. Monroe exiting pits. Hashtag Flangi on lap 9 is P2, 0.2 behind C. Monroe. Hashtag Flangi past C. Monroe for P1. Specky K, Sim Racer 203, is P4, 1.5 behind Evo Jr. C. Monroe from Australia in Maternity Bend is P2, 1.7 behind hashtag Flangi. Tabizea entering the pits is 7th. Specky K, Sim Racer 203, from Australia is P4, 2.4 behind Evo Jr. Tabizea exiting pits. Tabizea is 7th. C. Monroe in Black Sands is P2, 1.9 behind hashtag Flangi. Specky K, Sim Racer 203, in Fisherman S Bend is 4th, 1.6 behind Evo Jr. C. Monroe is P2, 2.3 behind hashtag Flangi. Hashtag Flangi was 8.0 faster last lap. Specky K, Sim Racer 203, is 4th, 2.6 behind Evo Jr. 5 minutes remaining in the session. C. Monroe in Solitude Esses is 2nd, 1.9 behind hashtag Flangi. Hayes in Dona Maria is 9th, 3.3 behind Huggy 65. Huggy 65 is 9th, 0.3 behind Hayes. Steve Jr. in Black Sands is P3 driving a Jetta. Hashtag Flangi in Mandarin Oriental Bend is first. Best lap is a 2:36.240. 0.083 off the fastest lap. Hayes is P8. Huggy 65 on lap 10 is P9. Tobizea in Dona Maria 2 on lap 10 is P7. Steve Jr. is 4th. Lethal Force is P5, 4.5 behind Steve Jr. Hayes in Fisherman S Bend is P8 with 30 kilos. Tobizea is 7th. C. Monroe in Lisboa Bend is P2. Hayes in Lingnan Bend is P8. Best lap is a 2:45.016. 9.235 off the fastest lap. Hashtag Fnlongi is first. Steve Jr. from Australia in Solitude Essies is P4. Exilex from Italy in Teddy Yip is P6. C. Monroe is second driving a Porsche. Tobizea in Lisboa Bend is P7. Huggy 65 in Melco Hairpin is P9. Exilex in R Bend is 6th. C. Monroe is second. Hashtag Fnlongi is P1 driving a Toyota. The leader has just finished the race. Hashtag Fnlongi finished first. C. Monroe finished P2. Hayes is P8. Hayes finished 8th. Specky K, Sim Racer 203, finished 3rd. Steve Jr. finished 4th. Lethal Force finished P5. Exilex is P6. Exilex finished P6. Huggy65 finished P9. Tobizaya is 7th. Tobizaya finished 7th.